Well, folks, it's official. It's officially official. I am a quitter. Not for the first time in my life, because I like to quit things. But I'm a quitter. Hold your applause to the end. I'll tell you what I quit later. But anyway, hey, listen, I told you I'd give you some time between the next episode and this episode. And I did. I held true to my word. I'm pretty good at it. Sometimes. Sometimes I'm not. I don't know. Jeez Louise, Taylor Swift. Now, I've had a lot of time. It's been almost 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I don't know, it just fucking all blends together when, you have responsibilities and a great job. When you've got humans that rely on you, when you've got people that rely on you. It just seems like time is just still there. It's still there for us to enjoy. It's still there for us to not enjoy. But hey, look. Welcome back to the TrapHouse podcast, episode number 18. We are officially adults up in this motherfucker. We are officially adults. Now, I think I've said this before, but there are times in life where people are adults, but they're also not. There's also times where, the humans are children, and they are more adult than adult. And it's crazy to think about. It's not really crazy to think about. I just like saying things that come off the top of my head. I just say them. There's no reason. There's no rhyme. There's no rhythm. There's no, hey, is this compatible? Is the listener going to like it? Is anybody going to like it? The one thing that I do know for certain is that if I were to go back and I were to listen to any episode or any short or any time I decided to do this, anytime I was like, hey, let's go record some nonsense and put it out on the space web. Let's just put it out there. They say once it's on the internet, it's always going to be out there. So, hey, they also say if you just stand out in a field and say words real loud, that they go on forever. Now, it makes sense to me. That makes complete sense to me. Because if you've ever been somewhere at a time, or, and you're at a place, obviously, because you'd be there, and you were to yell real loud out into the abyss, the sky, space, the air, if you were to yell real loud, right? There's a chance that you might hear a reverb or a reciprocating thing. So you say, oh! And not too long later, you hear a faint, oh! It's called an echo or something. I thought the dolphins only did that. But when you hear it, right? You hear it and you're like, oh man, that must So if like we learned last episode, voices travel, right? But they also return. They like to travel. Hey, Phil. Hey, Phil, can you hear me? Can you hear me? You can hear me? All right. So Phil can hear me. And now we're about, I don't know, 8 to 10 feet away from each other. Because, we're not like that. So I say, hey, Phil, you can hear me, right? And he's like, yeah. So he hears me. And he hears me because that's my voice traveling. Right? It travels. Voices travel. They travel real quick, too. So if you're alone or you're out in the wilderness somewhere and you yell out loud and your voice echoes and it comes back and you get the ahoo or you get the, yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you. You're an idiot. You're out in the woods talking to yourself. Even still, it happens. So that echo comes back to you and you're like, that's nice. So I'm just gonna sit here and I'm gonna shout into the abyss. I'm gonna raise my voice to a level that's makes it for the ability for you to be able to hear it. I'm talking just high enough and just low enough so that the pitch of my voice and the pitch of the sound that comes out of my shell here, this thing that we're just walking around in. So I learned this the other day that there's no voice box. There's no box in there. Isn't that weird? Am I the only one who didn't know this? There's like, there, so I say, what about the voice box that we all have? And another human who obviously is of a much higher intelligence than myself says, are you retarded? And obviously my answer was, do you see who you're talking to? Yes, I'm retarded. So the question comes back to me. Do you actually believe that there's a box inside your throat? Yep. How else are we able to make words? How else are we able to do that? There's got to be like a little machine in there that allows you to make words. Master of retardation. I don't even have to practice it anymore. It just is a free flowing. It just happens. Now that's the only way to be in this life is it just happens. So I was informed that no, Chris, there's no voice box. When you are about to say words to another human or to an animal or to a child or to the priest or to the guy at the grocery counter, anytime you're about to make words, there's a series of events that has to happen. A whole series. It's not like it just happens by magic, like the voice box that I thought everybody had. So what has to happen is a thought has to occur. And after a thought has occurred, your brain sends a signal to your tongue and your throat and your lungs and your diaphragm and a few other things, I'm sure. A few other places. So when you have that thought, it immediately triggers this reaction to like your whole fucking upper half of your being. I don't think many people use their dicks or their vajays to talk with, but so I'm gonna say from the waist up is where all this transmissions happen. I don't know. Maybe sometimes things get lost in translation. I don't know. Maybe a lot of times for this guy, most things get lost in translation. But that's how words are able to be produced, and it's just so everybody knows now. I'm just gonna set the record straight. There's no such thing as a voice box. Just so you guys know, anybody else out there who went to public school, you don't have a voice box. It doesn't exist. So, now that I know that these words they travel and they don't come from a magical box inside your throat, I'm sitting here today to just be on this mountaintop and say, "Ooh!" But with no echo. Because once it's out there, it's out there. So I hope, look at, and we all know what hope is, right? I hope y'all understand where I'm coming from. There's a lot of things going on nowadays, and we can't really keep track of all of them. So this is what happens when you leave your phone on. We're going to record. I know that my voice needs to be heard by this microphone. I take all necessary precautions except for the necessary precautions. Amen. If you don't know it by now, this guy comes prepared. I'm ready. Spaghetti. I'm ready, spaghetti. Sometimes I'm ready for spaghetti. So, I'm not really sure exactly where I was going with that. But at this point in time, episode 18, we're adults talking into a microphone in the year 2021 so that people maybe would listen. Now, again, I'm not 100% sure why anybody out there thinks that this is like for them. I could tell you, like I began to say earlier, in the end of all time, after everything's said and done and the checks are written and the money's gone out, the reason why the TrapHouse podcast exists is only because at one time, at one place, at a moment, an adult listened to a child, and the child had he has this greatness in him, and he says these words, and then the adult says, you know what? Let's make greatness. Now it's, again, look at, you got to understand, none of this is for you. But I'll tell you this, it's a way in the event, in the end, when all this shit is gone to hell, and you can't turn on your Netflix, and you can't turn on your Hulu, you can't turn on your Prime, you can't watch your HBO, you can't fucking tune into Skinamax, you can't turn on Pornhub. You're not able to do what you want to do anymore, or listen to what you want to listen to. I could tell you this much. I do this so that in the event that there's nothing else to listen to, I know at some points, I give some good advice. I know that. I'm not bragging about it. I'm just saying I just know that sometimes there's good advice, but I do also know that 98% of the other time is just nonsense. And that's okay, because I'd love to listen to some nonsense as opposed to listening to, just pick up a newspaper. Turn on the news for 1 minute if you want. If you don't believe what I'm saying, or if you're so sucked into it that you don't know that you've been sucked into it, just shut it off. Hey, that's my spiel. That's it. You got it. This ain't for you. I've said it enough times to make me not even want to listen to this anymore, but guess what? Chicken butt. So let's get on to some more interesting topics. I know that things in places in time have been going berserker. Zoo. I feel like somebody let all the animals out of the cages. Somebody let all of the animals out of their cages. People are losing their fucking minds, man. People have lost their fucking minds, man. For what? For what? I know it's been said before, but can't we all just get along? Why is it he said, she said, and now it's they said? What the fuck is going on? I hope, again, we all know what hope is, you look at things through your eyes, through your discernible conscience. Everybody's got a gift of discernment. Anybody who tells you it's a special gift is leading you down a path of religion. discernment is built into you and you and you and you and every single human being that's born. Okay, we're just going to let these massive trucks go by, and they're gone. Everybody is able to make conscious decisions based on information given and processed. And if you can't do that, again, you may be... I know you thought the word, so I'm not even going to say it. It's not difficult to make wise choices, like Mom always says. She says, make wise choices. It's not always the easiest either, but in more cases than not, it's very easy to make the right decision for you. Do we have to look out for others as well? Yes. Let's not be dumb. Yes. Ultimately, we all should be looking out for one another. We should all have each other's best interests in mind. And when I say that, I'm lying, obviously. Do not fall for this fucking herd mentality where you matter the same amount as me as long as we agree on this one thing that this herd on this side of the line agrees with. But them over there, get that shit out of here. Anytime you gotta pick a side, I hope it's for dodgeball. Or I hope you're picking a side for which side do you want to be on when the train comes. You going to be on the side that you get picked up on, or you're going to be on the side where you wave at the people getting picked up to leave? What? These are the only sides we should... What side of the bread am I going to butter? What side's going to be peanut butter? What side's going to be jelly? What other sides? What side? You can have the steak. What side? Do you want the veggie or do you want garlic? These are the only sides we should be worried about. It's crazy to think about that sides matter. When black lives don't even matter. White lives don't even matter. It doesn't matter what side you're on. It don't matter. Stop picking sides. Why do we need to pick a side? Why don't you just fucking be? And stop being consumed by commercialism and the altogether warped mind view of the people in charge. Doesn't make sense to me. Now, earlier I had mentioned I'm a quitter. Well, we'll get to that later. Here's something to think about from last week. Remember how we do that? We do that thing where I'm like, hey, here's something to think about. You know how I do that every week? Remember how it was like, what the fuck happened to Amelia Earhart? She was here, then she wasn't. Did anybody here think about it? I bet you didn't. I bet you didn't, because there's so much other things going on in the world. I get it. But guess what? Again, I thought about it for you. I did a little research, put a small amount of time into it, But I did just after learning a little bit more than what the public school obviously has taught anyone. When you do your own, it's not about, I'm not going to say that because people will think I'm I'm not going to say that word either. I can't even say any words anymore. Hold on, I'm going to tell you what I learned about Amelia Earhart. Number one, she could fly a plane. She could definitely, she could fly a plane, and she could do it pretty well. She was a woman. I mean, she doesn't look like a woman in most of her pictures, but she was a woman. You know what? She may have been the start of that whole metrosexual shit. You know? Maybe she was the one who was like, I'm gonna make this look work. And you know what? She pulled it off marvelously. That was a girl boy I'd love to fuck. She was gorgeous. She pulled it off. I mean, if you debate me, you know where to do it. But listen. Amelia Earhart was born July 24th. And it's the same day they dedicated to her when she went missing. So she was born July 24th. That means she was conceived kind of like what? October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. Yeah. Wow, that was a good guess. So she was a winter baby, you know what I mean? And she was made in the winter, came out in the summer. So July 24th, this human being graced the planet with her presence. And it's a wonderful thing. I mean, obviously, as a baby, not much use to anybody. Except for maybe to show off to other parents or other people to say, hey, look at my new baby. Isn't she cute? Kind of looks like a boy, kind of doesn't. We don't really know. But she lived a pretty interesting life, this Amelia Earhart. And I just wanted to just give some facts about her, okay? I want to just tell you some things that she did. Okay? Let's see. I just want to tell you a few things. She was born in Kansas. She was in a middle upper class household, whatever the fuck that means. So her parents kind of had money, but one of the parents was either drinking it all away or gambling it all away. Is that what that means? I'm not sure what upper middle class means. But maybe one episode we'll figure it out. Maybe. She was a wonderful lady. She had a wonderful childhood, obviously. She had to have a good childhood. She was upper middle class. I've seen poor people who are living pretty good nowadays. And you all know who I'm talking about. Just saying. Don't get me wrong here. Listen to this. She flew her plane 14,000 feet in the air on October 22. The world altitude record for female pilots. Now look, we talk about Amelia Earhart, right? Wonderful, great woman. However, back in the day, there were also other women pilots who were better than her. Just saying. But we remember this one. Let's see why. We remember her very much. This is the one that we're taught about in school. This is the one we're talking about in school because she was like, because apparently, I don't know why, but women believe that they're born in this house that has glass ceilings. First off, you can't build a house with glass ceilings. It wouldn't fare well. If you live in a seasoned place where you get all the seasons, where it rains, or what if it fucking hails, man? I don't understand. But anyway, Amelia Earhart, she fisted her way through these glass ceilings. She was the first person. She's the first person to circumnavigate the earth. And she's a woman. First person to circumnavigate the earth. I kind of jumped ahead on her achievements. On June 17th, 1928, she took her first transatlantic flight as a passenger. Lasted 20 hours, 40 minutes. As a passenger, she's getting credit for being inside an aircraft while a pilot flew to their destination, and then wrote a book about it. Became famous off the book. If you want to go read the book, go read it. It's called 20 Hours, 40 Minutes. Very, very, very original title that they went with on this. Now, again, Amelia Earhart, woman, wonderful woman, looks kind of like a boy, is married, has a couple of stepchildren. She never actually gave birth to any children. Is she really a woman? We'll never know. But she was really a public person. She was always standing up for breaking through glass ceilings and really wanting to be. She really wanted to be all that she could be, and she wanted to do it by busting through glass ceilings. So she's like, hey, I want to fly all the way around. I want to make this long trip. I want to fly. I want to do this trip, and I want to be even more famous. She was the first person to fly across the Atlantic by herself. First person. And she was a woman. Glass ceiling fucking shattered, okay? And then she wanted to be the first person. Now, when they say, obviously they meant she wanted to be the first woman to circumnavigate the earth around the equator. So she writes a book. She's the first person to ride in a plane by herself. And, you know, obviously, ceiling after ceiling is being just busted through. She's killing it. Amelia Earhart is literally just, she's killing it. But we have to take some time, space, and a small amount of energy and just take a peek behind the veil of Amelia Earhart. She's got, you know, like right before the play starts, you see some of the kids like sneak, they put their fingers and they pull the curtain. They try to pull it so you can't see it, but the curtain's so huge, the movement of curtain obviously, and then their little colored faces in the black or the red veil that's there between them and the audience, and they just like they put their finger. This is what we gotta do. We gotta get our fucking fingers right on the edge there. We gotta just try to pull that back a little bit, and we gotta just get a peek. Just get a peek of what's going on, really. Something to think about was, what the fuck happened to Amelia Earhart? Really, why is Amelia Earhart the one that we all know? Is it because she disappeared? Is it because she went missing with Fred Noonan? Is it because they went on is it because they wanted to do something that nobody else has ever done? Okay, there's our fingers right up there on the edge of that fucking curtain. Okay, so let's ask this question. What was different this time? What was different this time? You've done it before. Time after time, this woman has shattered glass ceilings. She actually, and this I know, she was in a competition, like an aerial competition with her aircraft, and you wouldn't know this, but she placed third place. She got third. We're still talking about it. Got third place there. You know, the first time that she ever saw an airplane, she was like, that's not really that impressive. Because that glass ceiling was way higher than her thinking, hey, I'm gonna do something that nobody's ever done before. And then she went and then she goes to try and do it. And then she's done all these other great fucking things. We're looking behind the curtain, and then you gotta understand that the way that she was gonna fly around the earth would fuck with the globe theory. You think? And then poof, she's gone. I don't know about you guys, but that seems a little, I don't know, makes me think. Hey, she disappeared. Nobody, without a trace. Poof, she and Noonan are gone. Oh, you know what? You know what I think happened? Here's what I think happened. Don't quote me. Because again, these are facts in my opinion. But I'm thinking her and Noonan were like, Maybe lost control of the plane. I don't know. They're very technical things. Did a finger go where it wasn't supposed to go? Oh, no, not there. Oh, plane's in the sea. I don't know how it worked out. Listen, here's the deal. Glass ceilings have all been broken. Maybe she was trying to bust out the glass ceiling of the airplane while they were trying to fly. That could cause something, and I don't know how the vacuum works, but I'm sure it doesn't look good. Hey, Philip, knock, knock. Not Amelia Earhart. Got him. So, there's nothing like just asking questions and then trying to figure out hey, what the fuck happened to Amelia Earhart? She was here and then she wasn't. Poof, she's gone. The greatest magician of all time. There is a theory though, and I'm leaning more towards this theory. I'm leaning towards it. So, there's a theory that Amelia Earhart they crashed, so their plane crashed, and they believe, back then they had precise GPS locating devices so that they could tell right where she crashed. They had that back then, so they know where she crashed. So they did an experiment, and they threw a pig out of a plane, and it landed wherever they said, oh, she crashed here, so we're gonna just throw this pig over there and see what happens to the body. Let's just see what happens. And the pig sat there or whatever, and then these big coconut crabs came on over, and they ate the pig, and they're like, oh, well, the crabs got her. Well, it had to be the crab that she got. Amelia got the crabs. That's what happened to her body. The crabs just ate her up. I'm gonna go with that. I believe that sounds like a legitimate thing. I believe that's legitimate. So I'm gonna go with that. We're gonna say that's the deal. Because I know you guys didn't think about it, but if you do think about Amelia Earhart, you gotta know that she was the woman to bust through the glass ceiling and do things that nobody else was willing to do. And at the same time, look like a boy. So, thumbs up, Amelia. You've inspired greatness in us all. Here's something to think about for the next episode of the Trap House podcast. Hold on, let me flip the page. I'm gonna flip that page of mind thought-provoking shit. I'm just gonna turn the page for you. Hold on, let me flip it back. Now I'm gonna turn it. Boom. What's in a name? Seriously. What's in a name? We'll get into that next week or next time on the Trap House podcast. Again, guys and gals and everybody in fucking between, pick a side, man, right? Thanks for showing up. Thank you so much for showing up. I know there's some new subs. Hey, thanks for showing up. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining us on this journey through a podcast brought to you by randomness and acts of kindness. I do have something very important to say. It's more of a, I don't know, it's like I don't know how you'd say it, but it's like it's like if you were to put something in a time capsule, they call it. You put something like a empty cube or an empty sphere. You put it in there, you take time and you maybe put a picture in to remember something. But anyway, it's this idea where you put all these things in a box that make you think good thoughts. And then you bury it. And then 10 years, 15 years, whatever amount of time you would like to go past before you remember these events or these times that took place, so you bury it. This will be like my voice box time capsule. If that makes sense. It's like a voice box time capsule that can be played. It can be played really whenever. I mean, you can download this as well. So this is just I just want to give a happy birthday shout out to my eldest. Happy birthday. I mean, happy birthday. Happy birthday. Now, I do have a story just because. And it's a story that kind of goes along with a lot of the things that happen, because there's a saying in this household that goes, "Geez Louise, Taylor Swift." Brought to you by you. And what a great saying it is. Because it was made by an 8-year-old who, or 7, who couldn't get over this Taylor Swift character, and this phrase came about, and the video evidence is so, like, compelling, and it just makes you just, like, smile once you see it. And even hearing these words, "Geez Louise, Taylor Swift," even if you don't even know who Taylor Swift is, one, it's a catchy saying. Number two, if you do know who Taylor Swift is, it's even funnier because you're like, "Geez Louise, Taylor Swift. Get your shit together, bitch." But happy birthday to you for allowing that to be a part of me. And now, let me just take it back a little bit further, because obviously on birthdays you have to tell stories. I remember a time when you were so excited to see Santa. You were so excited to see Santa at such a young age. Such a young age. Maybe 2 or 3. Shit, you may have been 1.5. But you were little. And we were gonna take you to get pictures done with Santa. At this time, you were the only one. You were all dressed and ready in your black and red dress with your little bow, your hair done up, and you try to escape the crib, and the fucking big old red mark the top of your dome. You're so excited to go see Santa, you jump out of the crib. Happy birthday to you. So now that life has passed and time has passed, we've thought about some things, we've brought some things up. I don't know about you guys, but I'm still trying to figure out, hey, where's winter? I was literally just raking snow off my yard the other day. Where are we in the system of things where winter's like, I'm just not gonna show up this year? I find it hard to believe that winter's just sitting out there waiting. What's winter doing? What's with the hold up, winter? I'm ready to build a snowman. I'm ready to watch Frozen for the 7 millionth fucking time. I hope Santa doesn't get confused like the birds are. I'm not sure about any of you folks, but if you've been watching the birds I seen a flying V going south. They heard the weather for next weekend. They turned around and stopped to have a beer. The squirrels are still hanging out. There's no predicting anything. Yet we still pay people to lie and tell us what we want to hear. Doesn't make sense to me. But I hope you all had a great time in time. This episode, that it's during this time that you're allowed to be able to just let your mind kind of think about something else. It allows you to, I think, in the end, be a better you. Because you can always be better. And if there's something holding you back, again, we said it, if there's something standing in your way, just get the fuck, just go through it, man. Go through get it. Go get it, and you'll know you got it when you get it, because you'll know. But then you don't need to tell nobody. You just keep going. There's a path you need to go on. Go on it. But don't go on it based on what they're doing over there, or what he or she's doing that way. Do it because it's what you really know is you. You know, I find it difficult this time of year to really get in the spirit, because it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I hear there's a lot of hoopla about this whole sticking with tradition, or doing what we've always done. How about no? How about we do something different? Here's my challenge this week. A lot of people out there doing challenges. They're making up challenges. They're hurting themselves walking up milk crates. I don't know. I don't know. Here's a challenge. Read a book. Hope y'all had a good time in time. This is Epiphany Chris, and remember, these are all facts. Okay? In my opinion. Have a wonderful day. It's really up to you.